Nope, not on yet. Am I on? Now I am. I had to bring it down for us people who are short, both in name and stature. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. My name is Suzanne Short, hence the joke if you didn't know my last name. And I am honored to be serving this community on its board of directors. Welcome to those that are joining us virtually from near and far, and to the people in this room. We are grateful to be able to connect with you. If you are a visitor here today, we are so glad that you found us. We welcome you and thank you for spending time with us. We are a community committed to being deliberately diverse, fully inclusive, and want you to know that whoever you are, you belong here. Our church was begun in 1833 as a liberal Christian community. We are now a community of many faith journeys and beliefs, guided not by a creed, but by a covenant to uphold shared principles marked by love, respect, and justice. Our faith community continues to work together to put our UU principles and values into action and to build beloved community and serve the purpose of justice for all here in the Richmond community and afar. We welcome you to live these principles with us as you continue your spiritual journey and join together with us in choosing to side with love. If you are a visitor here today or new to Unitarian Universalism and would like to learn more about our faith and community, we invite you to check out our website, join our Facebook group, and reach out by email at membership@richmonduu.org. To stay informed of important news and many activities occurring within our church community, I encourage church members and visitors to arrive or tune in to our Sunday morning services 5 to 10 minutes early to catch the rolling announcements. And remember to check the various editions of First News Weekly. Again, welcome to our joyful Sunday, made sacred by all of us being together, worshiping, and sharing our time with each other. Thank you.
It's so wonderful to have One Voice Chorus with us today. Thank you so much for the blessing of your music. Isn't it great to have them? Let's give them another round of applause. So, good morning. Good morning. My name is Lauren Levwood, and I have the honor of being one of your assistant ministers here at the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. We are going to begin this morning by welcoming anyone who, if it's your first or second time here and you'd like to introduce yourself, we would love to hear who you are. You can just raise your hand, the mic will come around. Please know that we are live streaming, so you'll be heard in here and online with our congregants who are watching from home. Did I see a hand over here? Oh, there we go.
Hi, I'm Joanna Walker, and I just moved here a week ago. I was here last week, and it's just wonderful to be here. I was a member of the Fairfax UU Church for probably 37 years or so, and my daughter lives here and encouraged me to move to Richmond, so I'm happy to be here with you all.
My name is Willow Pendleton McGuire, and I'm a she, her.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tyrus, and I just wanted to see what this was all about.
Okay, well, thanks for introducing yourselves. And before we go ahead and greet our neighbors, I just wanted to note the really big change that we can see some faces that we haven't seen before, and that others of us will continue to mask. And I just invite all of us as we move through this transition to continue to be warm and loving and respectful of what the others around us need, especially if you're noticing that someone else is choosing to wear a mask, respecting space, or maybe asking if they'd like for you to put one on, and just enjoying the fact that we're moving through this transition and have a little bit more possibility for freedom all together. Yeah? I know we can do that and work through this together in a loving way that supports all of us and our diversity of desires around the mask wearing. At least we can try. So now it's time to stand and greet your neighbor, turn towards a person you haven't seen or introduced yourself to yet, and say hello, say good morning. And as you find your way back to your seats, please remain standing. Please remain standing as you wish, in body or spirit, for our opening hymn. Number 1051, We Are.
1051 if you have any. Here we go.
Well, this is a surprise. She's like, what's going on? Well, actually, you are about what's going on. My name is Diane Woodruff, and I'm joined by Helene Meadows and Dorothy Hollahan. And we at First UU are privileged to be a teaching congregation, and we welcome UU interns on their path to ministry. They come to learn, and we are the grateful recipients of their talents and witness to their growth as a minister. As they leave to continue their journey, we present them with a quilt as a remembrance of their time with us and in gratitude for their work here. Lauren's path took an unexpected turn with the death of Reverend Jean. And before we knew it, she was our assistant minister. Well, admittedly, the quilters did miss that tradition deadline by just a bit. But we're here today to fix that. And we're here today to honor our tradition of thanking our interns for their work here with a quilt. You may remember that we made a raffle quilt earlier this year with pattern and fabric from a beloved member, Kathleen Van Passen. Well, she had more in her stash. And this quilt was made from another pattern and fabric of Kathleen's, pieced by our members. Are there other quilters here who took part? Run down there, and 12 in all, and now ready for Lauren. So with deep gratitude for your time as our intern, we present this quilt on behalf of the First UU congregation.
you. Thank you. This is such a surprise. This is like my cloak of the moment. Isn't this beautiful? Yeah, let's play this. Well, I certainly didn't miss any tradition, so this didn't skip a beat for me, and it's so meaningful. Thank you so much to everybody who worked on it. You're taking me off guard. Okay, I got to get back in my plan of the moment. But no, thank you so much, and thank you in advance to those of you who will be supporting me for my ordination next week. It's a really big time, and I appreciate all of your support. So, without further ado, shall we move on to the opening words for our service? Great. So as I said, and my name is Lauren, and my pronouns are she or they. I'd like, before we begin, to do a land acknowledgement, which isn't something that we always do here, but we're going to do it this morning for a special reason. This church is located on the rightful land of the Powhatan Confederacy and other indigenous tribes of this area. And although a land acknowledgement is never enough without sincere apologies and concerted work of repair, on this day that we acknowledge our ancestors, let us take a moment to collectively honor the ancestors of this place. Will you please close your eyes with me and take a few deep breaths and a moment of silence and respect. Thank you. And acknowledging that Earth herself is an ancestor as well, may our future actions reflect genuine care for Earth and all who call Earth home. So today is our second annual Altars of Remembrance worship service, and many cultures honor the beloved dead this time of year when the veil between the worlds is said to be thin. The crisp fall air, the waning summer sun, the farmlands shedding their harvest crops, holidays such as the Celtic pagan Samhain, Mexican Dia de los Muertos, and the Christian All Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, they all encourage us in different ways to lovingly remember our dearly departed. So last year we began this tradition called Altars of Remembrance, and we were guided by our former dear minister, Reverend Jean Pupke. We created altars to remember our dearly departed and to grieve the losses of, at that time, what was a year and a half into the COVID-19 pandemic. And so today we're coming another year around the circle, and we once again remember our beloved dead by creating altars of remembrance in Reverend Jean's honor. None of us know what the future will hold. And when Reverend Jean created this tradition, she did not know that it would become a way for us to remember her, along with our other beloved ancestors who have gone before. So may you rest in peace and rest in power, Reverend Jean. Thank you for the gift of your ministry, including the altars of remembrance that we will make together here today. So come, friends, come, ancestors. Let us dance and mingle together for an hour. Let us create altars in our sanctuary and the sanctuaries of our hearts to help lift up our most joyful memories and preserve the love between us. Welcome to this time of worship, and may this time together be a blessing.
Our child's lighting this morning are words by Reverend Karen Johnson. Ancestors who spoke with bravest fire, lend us your senses that we may know another world is on her way. Breathe into life with our participation in her creation. Forebearers who led the way where there was at first no way. Lend us your persistence, your temerity, your assurance that the moral arc of the universe does indeed bend towards justice. One who went before us, sacrificing for a future not your own. Help us to give ourselves that the common stones in our hands today may be cathedrals of compassion today, halls of restorative justice tomorrow, sheltering walls of the beloved community the day after. It is Sunday morning, the day we gather. Let us be thankful and full of praise to be in the company of those who came before us, yet are ever in our midst.
So we're going to have a moment of embodied meditation right now. You can disregard the title on the screen. This is just a meditation from me to you. So if you're comfortable, please rise, or you can stay seated. And gently let your eyes close or rest on a place on the floor in front of you. And just begin taking some deep breaths. And connecting down through your feet and through your center line to the earth beneath you. Feeling the earth rising to meet you. Feeling that hug, that gentle hug of gravity that keeps us close. And just gently allowing your body to sway very slightly from side to side, just noticing the skeleton that holds you up and giving some appreciation for those bones. Always moving, shifting, supporting us, kind of like the central beams, the structure of a building that we don't see but that are always there. Maybe bend your knees and bounce a little bit. Feel the fluidity, appreciate the joints. Maybe moving your arms open and closed. We have so many different kinds of joints inside. Some of them hinge, some of them rotate. It's pretty amazing. And then rooting back down into the earth, connecting with the bones of the earth, the stones and the structures underneath our feet, all the different kinds of matter that hold us up and make us whole. And whenever you're ready, gently opening your eyes and taking a glance about the room and retaining this connection to your bones, to your skeleton, and to this meditation as you find your seat again. Maybe you feel a little different now when you sit down. And we're going to have, if you are planning on singing, you are a member of the youth music ensemble, it is your time now to come forth, to come forward, and we will hear a song about the earth and about remembering place.
Oh, okay. That's right. Come on up here. Play one through. Play one then. Please sing along with I see spring flowers. I see the mountains. Oh, Shenandoah. I see the mountains. Away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah. I see the mountains. Away, I'm bound away. Across the wide, I see the rainbow. Oh, Shenandoah, I see the rainbow. Away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I see the rainbow. Across the Thank you.
Is this one on? I might just, there we go. We'll use this one. Big thank you to Haya and Josie and Simon for singing with the Youth Music Ensemble. And thank you, is it working now? Yeah. There we go. Yes? All right. And thank you to Jamie Kilpatrick and Dave for your work with the Youth Music Ensemble. It's really fantastic. My name is Leanne Luskin. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the joy and delight of serving the children and youth and families of this church here at First UU Richmond. Now is the time for us to engage with our 2 altars that we have set up here. There was an invitation to bring something to remember your ancestors and your departed loved ones. Maybe you didn't get that message and you didn't bring anything today, and that is okay. We have paper and some color pencils up here. You could write their name, or you could write a message to them or a memory. You could draw a picture. There are very few rules with how you want to engage with our altars. I'm going to offer a story, and that should give everyone some time to come up and engage with the altars, leave something or write something. This year we are doing things a little bit differently. Last year we had a ceremonial fire and we burned the paper items. There will be no fire this year, and all of your precious items can go back home with you, so no worries there. All right? Okay. So as you feel moved and I share this story with you, please come on up and engage with the altars. This tale that I have to share with you comes to us by way of Clarissa Pinkola Estes from a book called Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's a story from the Pueblo people in the deserts and mountains of northern Mexico and the southwestern parts of the United States, which was Mexico. There is an old woman who lives in a hidden place that many people know about, but few have ever seen. And she waits there
for lost or wandering people and seekers to come to her place. They say she lives near the rotten granite slopes of Tarahumara Indian country. They also say she is buried outside Phoenix near a well. She has been spotted driving south to Monte Alban in an old, burnt-out car with the back window shot out. Some say they have seen her standing by the highway in El Paso, or riding shotgun with truckers to Morelia, Mexico, and some have seen her walking to the market above Oaxaca with strangely formed boughs of firewood strapped to her back. She is called many names: La Huesera, bone woman; La Trapera, the gatherer; and La Loba, which means wolf woman. The suspicious ones call her soul stealer, claiming that she weaves a dream catcher to snare the souls of those who would cross over and cages them by the light of her fire. No. The sole work of La Loba is the gathering of bones. She is known to collect and preserve especially that which is at risk of being lost to the world. The floor of her cave is littered with the bones of all manner of desert creatures: the deer, the rattlesnake, the crow, but her specialty is said to be wolves. She creeps and crawls, sifting through the montañas, the mountains, and through the arroyos, the dry riverbeds, looking and looking for wolf bones. And when she has an entire skeleton, every last bone, when the beautiful white sculpture of the wolf is laid out before her, she takes a seat by the fire and thinks about what song she might sing. And when she is sure, she raises her arms above La Criatura and she begins to sing. And as she sings, the rib bones and the leg bones gather together. The wolf becomes furred and fleshed out, and she sings more, and more of the creature comes together. Its tail curls upward, all shaggy and strong. Still more deeply she sings, and the wolf begins to breathe. She sings so much and so deeply that the floor of the desert begins to shake, and the wolf opens its eyes and takes off, running away down the canyon. And then the legend says by its speed, or the splashing of the river, or the way the moonlight or the sunlight hits the wolf just so, that it transforms into a laughing woman who runs free towards the horizon. And so they say that if you are wandering the desert near sundown, maybe a little lost and certainly tired, that if you are lucky, La Loba will show you something of the soul. Thank you so much for everyone who came and engaged with these altars. We are going to hear some music, and I invite you to let that be the music that plays over these bones of our loved ones and ancestors and breathes life back into them for just this short while that we are together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie. We have a tradition here at First UU Richmond. When we pass the basket for collections, we share the money that we raise. For the month of October, we are sharing our plate with the Fulton Montessori School. We have a few ways that you can contribute. So you will see some items listed on the screen. If you're here in person, we have lovely volunteers with a basket, so you can raise your hand and they will come and collect your physical donation. The Fulton Montessori School is a nonprofit school providing really affordable, high-quality childhood education to the working families of Greater Fulton, the East End, and surrounding neighborhoods. The school accepts enrollees from ages 16 months up to 6.5 years old. They place a special emphasis on serving low-income and Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, and offer sliding scale rates to everyone. The school was established in 2018 and was housed in the Calvary United Methodist Church on Williamsburg Road, and then they moved to their own location across the street in August of this year. So their big goal right now, and contributions from here will go towards building an outdoor space that is inviting, educating, and playful. They will build a fence in the front yard to curb the busy Williamsburg Road activity. They'll add some climbing structures, wooden ships, playhouses in the back play yard. And the primary goal of those efforts is to allow year-round learning opportunities outdoors, and they will focus on STEM activities. So we will now very gratefully accept your donations, and those will go to our Fulton Montessori School. Thank you so much.
Prayer for the Morning by Odette Fulbright Fulson. Did you rise this morning broken and hungover, with weariness and pain and rage tired, waving too long in the brutal wind? Get up, child. Put your bones upright. Gather your skin and muscle into a patch of sun. Draw breath deep into your lungs. You would need it, for another day calls to you. I know your ache. I know you wish you were done with everyone you have loved and were distant on the shore. Safe and unafraid, but remember this, tired as you are not alone. Here and here and here also, there are others weeping and rising and gathering their courage. You belong to them. They belong to you. And together, we'll break through. Bend the arc of justice all the way down into our lives. The pouring of libation is a spiritual and venerable act that has its roots in traditional African American society. Libations are as old as religious ritual itself, and were practiced in both the New Testament and Hebrew Bibles. It continues to be offered as in various cultures as traditions today. In my culture, the pouring of libation is the way to honor and connect to those ancestors who have gone before us. We celebrate their lives, their contribution, and it's possible for us to live with more dignity, freedoms, possibilities, and opportunities. We honor their courage and remember the many lessons that they taught us. When we pour libations, we confirm and remind ourselves of the relationships we have in this vast universe and its creator in all its forms. And we remember to connect and reconnect not only to the spirit, but to everything around us. So in the spirit of libations, and if you're willing, I welcome you to join me in this sacred ritual. I would invite you to call the names of an ancestor, and you will affirm that name by saying, Ashe. So let's say, Ashe. Ashe. And then I will pour water into this living plant. So will you join me now as I call upon the ancestors and our elders whose wisdoms we seek in all endeavors. Today, in presence in the omnipotence creator, by whatever name you call it, we gather to celebrate the unbroken change between the past, the present, and the future, our ancestors, ourselves, and those unborn. We say, Ashe. We pour for the universal ancestors, the one who researched and taught us, those who freedom fighters that stood for what is right. Feel free to call their names, and I pour Ashe. We pour for those symbolic shoulders that we stand on today. We honor those who paved the way, for those who sacrifice, for those who paid the ultimate price for freedom and existence. Call their names into this space. We're poor, Ashe. We're poor in the memories of friends, families, colleagues who have joined their ancestors since we last met at the sacred space, the altars of remembrance. Call their names: the Reverend Jean Pupke, the Reverend David McPherson, we pour Ashe. We pour for our personal ancestors, those who gave us birth, and nurtured us and taught us. Call their name, Sherman Z. Logan Sr. We pour Ashe. We pour to welcome the present moment. We salute the power of this moment, and we salute the ever-present now. We pour Ashe. We pour for our future generations. We remember them now and build for them so that they can one day pour for us. We pour Ashe. We pour to the 7 directions, to the west, the north, east, south, up, down. We pour in the center that dwells in each of us. We pour Ashe. We pour for the 5 elements. We pour for fire, water, air, earth, and life, that they combine and make us. We pour Ashe. We pour to connect, that is, and cleanse our hearts. We pour Ashe. Which brings us back to where we started. We began with the Creator, and we end with the Creator. And I would pour 3 times. Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. May this be so. Amen. Ashe.
Please remain seated and we'll sing.
Rise if you would like for our hymn, Return Again.
Return
I realize you might be nervous that it's noon and now I'm going to preach, but I promise you it's very brief. So what we remember matters, who we remember matters, and how we remember matter. When we gather the bones of the past and fit them carefully, intentionally together, we can breathe new life into what has gone before. And from this act, like in the story of La Loba, the wolves and creatures, the magical creatures of our memories, can visit us and bring us medicine from the past and be part of our lives today. Ancestral remembrance exists in many cultures. The pagan or Celtic Samhain, as we mentioned before, the Mexican Day of the Dead, and the Japanese Obon Festival. And of course, those are holidays, and there are also indigenous cultures that weave in ancestral remembrance or veneration into the routine rituals of daily life. So this is a common human practice. And rather than thinking of this as something outside or separate from modern culture, I'd like to invite us into maybe the realization or the acknowledgement that it is more true to say that ancestral remembrance is just part of every human experience. We all have those who've gone before to remember and ways that we remember them, and it's something that we can lift up and do more of if it feels good or feels right for us. Sharing stories of the past and remembering our loved ones is just part of being human. So while many cultures remember or celebrate ancestors, I'd also like to name, maybe some of you'd appreciate me naming, that this doesn't mean all ancestors or all human actions are worthy of veneration or honoring, right? People who've gone before are just that. They're people. We're all people. And human beings have the power to be so many things: wise, loving, hurtful, and healing. And I'm sure you can think of someone, either from your life or from a story or a movie, who was either extremely good and wonderful that you'd like to uplift in that special way, or not so great, maybe in an archetypal sense, the good or the wicked, right? One example of this in a story is The Wizard of Oz, right? There are two witches, the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch. Although, side note, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend the musical Wicked that tells the true history of Oz and complicates the original film a bit. But you get what I'm sharing about the way that this is used in literature and story. And in mythology and literature, this is a tool to show the different aspects of ourselves, because we all have a lot of different parts of us. Most of us have a combination of things. We have some smooth and some rough edges. Parts of us are wise, are wonderful from time to time, but we still have morning breath, and we still respond not the best when we're under stress most of the time. So we all have the capacity to do beautiful and terrible things. This is why it's important, not only who and what, but also how we remember our past. It can be helpful to celebrate what we'd like to emulate or be more like, as well as lovingly acknowledge what we hope not to repeat. And these are both acts of love and can be done respectfully as we remember our ancestors and those who have gone before. Because just like our ancestors, we're all human. None of us will get it completely right. Perfection is impossible. It doesn't exist. But we can courageously keep trying as a human community to do that next right thing and hold on to our grateful memories to use as inspiration for the journey. This is a spiritual practice I'd like to invite us into. I'd like to invite you now to bring to mind someone who has gone before, someone who was powerfully loving or positive, or who made an important impression on your life or the lives of others. This might be someone you knew. It might be someone you've never met. It could be someone famous for helping humanity, or someone less well-known that you are close to. But just close your eyes for a moment, if you'd like, and let their face appear in your mind. And take a deep breath. And say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being an example of something that we'd like to venerate and continue to help create and weave more love into the world. And ask yourself, in the spirit of La Loba, for a message. What spirit song will help keep this person's loving memory alive? What spirit song can we sing to help keep this person's loving memory alive? Taking another deep breath and saying thank you for whatever message you received. You may now open your eyes. In the story of La Loba, piecing together those bones is important. Building the structure and remembering those concrete things is important. Carefully gathering and placing together the bones of our memories is sacred work. However, it is the singing, it's the singing that brings the wolf to life. Otherwise, it's like sitting over there, in a museum somewhere. It's the singing that sends it off running like a flame through the desert, becoming that wild woman disappearing over the horizon. It's the singing that enlivens the bones. And that song is the soul's song. It's our soul's song that brings forward the stories from the past and lifts them up to be lamps for the future. The act of remembering and the songs that we sing, our soul's song, the stories that we share, all of this, it can shape who we are and describe who we dream to be, who we dream to become. Our hearts are formed and informed by our sacred singing, by the way we remember, and by the energy we give to those memories. So as we sing the songs of the past, we're consciously bringing the future into being. Our connection with the past becomes an act of creation. And now we've talked a lot about people, but a little bit about the earth. And in addition to people, trees, rivers, rocks, water, mineral, air, all of these can also be considered our ancestors. The stones of the riverbed hold embodied memory of the footprints and paw prints of those who've gone before. The air we breathe was once breathed by many other creatures, other beings, flora and fauna, and we're all connected in a symbiotic web of existence that extends over time and ribbons pathways around the globe and beyond through the galaxy. So let us sing the beautiful songs of those we'd like to venerate and honor who've gone before. Let us sing of riverbeds and rainstorms. Let us sing of ripe tomatoes and trickling streams. Let us sing of hugs and acts of courage. Let us sing of kindness and demands for justice. Let us sing playful songs, tender songs, righteous songs. Let us sing songs of sadness and grief that open our hearts and lead us to greater love. Let us gather the bones of our past. Let us place our memories on the altars in our homes, our sanctuary, our hearts. And let us remember that it is up to us to breathe life into these bones with our spirit's songs. For the songs of today will create the future of tomorrow. May blessings pour forth from our sacred remembering, and may we sing with all of our hearts. Blessed be, Ashe, and Amen.
Oh
We extinguish the chalice today with these words by Leah Derlin Jones. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. As we go forth from this time and place, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen and blessed be. And in the words of Clarissa Pincola Estes, within us is the old one who collects the bones. Within us is the potential to be fleshed out again as the creature we once were. Within us are the bones to change ourselves and the world. Within us is the breath and our truths and our longings. Together, they are the song, the creation hymn we have been yearning to sing. Go now in peace, my friends, dreaming and yearning and singing the future into being. We will rise to sing our closing hymn.